Yes, drum nerd family, people, wonderful community that you are. Welcome back. Welcome back. Right, if you're not already a family member, consider joining and becoming a family member, and the only way that you could do that is by hitting the subscribe button below, to the side, up top, over here, behind, I don't know. But it's a nice little community. It is little because there's about 85 of us. Ever more are growing and coming this way. Hopefully you can teach me something, I can teach you something. We all get a nice little bit of drum nerd in our lives, and everybody's the more happy for it. So, as the title and the description says, this is all about the tour experiences that I've come across. The big ones, the small ones, the nice ones, the not so nice ones. That wasn't a bit of Salt Bay, by the way. I didn't mean to do that. So what we're looking at here is all of the different tours. So I'm only going to do one per video. So this will be in order. This will be the first tour I ever experienced. Might as well jump right on in there. I'll try and take out some of the explicit content that went on in this tour. Not for any other reason than a lot of the stuff, not that I did, but I don't condone certain things of what some of the other band members did, and I don't want to convey that across because that's just something I don't believe in, I don't endorse, it's not my bag. Hence why I didn't do those things on the tour. But let's get right into it! This is Poland. This was Poland 2011, October. To my knowledge, that's mushroom season. I'd moved to England from Canada in 2010, and in 2011 I found myself on a tour. This was probably one of the most bizarre, confusing, exciting, fun, terrifying moments of my life. Now really take this into account. Try and just digest some of this. I had joined a band maybe 2 months into being at my university, at my music university. Then fast forward about 10 months and I find myself getting ready to go on this tour. I'm in a new country that I don't know anybody really other than one of my old friends from there. So, I don't know anybody at school though. I am now in a band with people that I really don't know. I've only met them and known them for the last couple months. And then we're getting in a plane and we're going across to Poland. I've never been to Poland with 3 other guys that I don't know to travel around Warsaw for what, 3 or 4 days. So it wasn't a massive tour, but so that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I thought, personally and genuinely, I really thought, holy crap, it only took a year and I finally made it! This is amazing! Yes! Yes! It doesn't work that way, but it was a wonderful learning curve. So, what happened is my buddy's father, who is now my buddy, who was one of the members in the band, knew a guy, and this is where it kind of gets a little bit sketch, a little bit dodgy. He knew a guy in Poland who was a government official, right? Now this is where it gets all interesting. So he knew this government official. We did some EP recording because we were at school, so we had the access to the studio stuff. He gets a hold of it and he was like, oh wow. Well, he didn't say that because, well, he would have said that, but he said it in Polish. And he said, oh wow, this is wonderful. I really quite like this stuff. Do you want to get your son and his band to come out and do a couple shows? And as soon as we got wind of that, it was all hands on deck. We were beyond ourselves. We were beside ourselves and beyond ourselves. It was incredible. And so the band's name was The Antidote. We gave them what we had in EP is basically was called, because on the nose it was called The First Dose. So what had happened is we got told that all we needed to do was pay, I think, 40 or 50 pounds for the flight, and everything was covered. They put us up as accommodation, they put us up for food. This was probably the most bizarre first experience of a tour I could have ever had. And so what happened is we did a gig in London the night before we flew out to Warsaw, and we ended up doing, they told us when we were there we were going to do 3 gigs. By the time we got there, they went, oh, you know what, do a 4th gig. And so we did a 4th gig. So we ended up doing, 5 gigs in 4 days. 5 gigs, 4 days in 2 countries. It was really intense, it was crazy stuff, and we actually didn't go out there by ourselves. That's when we then found out further information that made it all even more crazy, that we were going to be touring with a band called the UK Legends, and that basically comprised of people from, members from, I think it was Bad Company. Paul Elliott was on the drums, who was actually one of my tutors at school, but he's one of the UK's biggest session drummers and clinicians, and he's just an all-around lovely dude, really big guy, but an amazing drummer, and he's well respected in the community. So when we found out that we were going to be supporting basically kind of all these people that we'd grown up listening to and admired and that work in the industry, come on, playing gigs with people from Bad Company and all that. I mean, it was crazy stuff. And so we landed. Again, I don't know how much you want to hear. I don't know how much you don't want to hear, but I'll just tell all this, and this can be the precursor for all the other tour videos of how in depth you want me to go. So please let me know in the comments below if all of this is too much information or if you want more, okay? So, moving on. So we do the gig in London. Nobody gets any sleep. We get to Heathrow at about, I don't know, I think we were there for a 6 o'clock flight, so we're there at about 3:30 in the morning. We had just done a gig and we headlined that, and that was at 10:30, so it's a really, no sleep has happened at this point. And we take off, we get in to Warsaw Airport, and we had no idea what was going on. And then there was just two guys, big suits. Again, we didn't know fully, but this guy worked in the Polish government. So there's these two big guys with suits and just one name, Antidote. It was just Antidote on one of those placards. And so we get out and we're thinking like, those are obviously people for us. They had hired two drivers. But what was crazy is one of them was kind of driving behind our car and the other one was with us. But we ended up walking down this crazy parking garage structure to get into these guys' cars. They took all our bags for us. We had no say in that. And if I told you anything that's really, really absolutely true, it is that we basically experienced a gone in 60-second car experience. They put all our stuff in one car, and one guy was behind us in his, like, they're both black. You could imagine would have been, they were quite low riding on the tires, so they were probably armored of some description, I don't know. They're like Mercedes cars, and so the guy, we went in one, and as I said, the guy took our luggage in the other one, and he was behind us. And we didn't take anything less than about 80, 90 miles an hour, and we were just cutting through all these cars, and then there was a red light and it just stopped. And then he did it all again, and it was, you could tell these were professional drivers, and they whizzed us up to this club, and it was this big, crazy, ridiculous club. It had a pyramid style staircase that went all the way up, and we were doing a gig that night. So we had to do our sound check. There was a backstage underneath the stage. It's this massive level club, by the way. The UK Legends, the band there, they're already there. And so there's a spiral staircase to go up to the stage. So we're all up there, we do our sound check, we go down that staircase. From there, we then get told that it's going to be on TV. We get told it's for this youth community center. And if I told you there was 1,000 kids there, there must have been 1,500 at least. 1,000 to 1,500 teenagers, you know, anywhere from like 16, 17 up to about 22, 23. I know that's not a teenager as such, but the point is it was for the youth of the city. And so we got there, we did all that. We walked through the city, we went shopping, we didn't have to be on for a while. Then we get back, and there's a bunch of guys in black, similar to this, but no Keith Moon on it, headsets and all. And we're in the back room, we're in the dressing room, big plush couches, and they look like Hubba Bubba gum, you know. And so we're back there, and we start interacting with the UK Legends. People are bringing us a bunch of stuff. All the drinks were free, and we're about to go on, and some dude comes back with a giant silver platter and a pyramid of hamburgers, McDonald's cheeseburgers, and he just handed it to me. And because I was by myself doing my pre-gig ritual, I had no idea what the hell was going on. I didn't ask for these burgers, somebody did, and they just kind of got dropped in my hands. And so, you know, put those down, went on, did the gig. It went really well. It was fun. It was great. Everybody got exciting afterwards and excitable afterwards. They had like a sex room. It was this weird thing, and it just said sex room on it in that place. All the toilets were clear, like one-way glass. It was the most bizarre experience I've ever had to go through. And so then we're all sitting backstage. We did the gig. It was all fun. And then somebody comes up from the UK Legends, and they say, "Hey, we're going out drinking, do you want to come with us?" And so it was like, okay, cool, we can party with these guys, that's awesome. They're older than us, but you know, they'll take us under the wings. So they sent a bunch of roadies, they took all our gear, we went down, and we're about to go out into Warsaw at night, right? We just finished the gig, it's all fun. We get down, and there's like a 1967 London style English double-decker bus just waiting there. All our gear is put on the bottom level. We walk up to the top, and all of the top had a spread of vodkas, Johnny Walker's food, Polish food, McDonald's food, like it was just all there. And then we just drove through Warsaw all night. I guess that was the party. Halfway through, some of our band wanted to get off and go and have an adventure, so they did. I stayed behind with the other guy in the band, and we drove through, went back to this house, and that was the end of the night essentially. We get back in the morning, nursing some hangovers, and the guys from the band finally come back at about lunch. They came back and they had said that they had some nose candy. They had a pair of brass knuckles with them. I don't know where that came from. They said they slept in some person's bathtub. That I don't know about because I wasn't there. But we then did another gig that same day, the next day. Turns out when we're doing this gig, the Polish Prime Minister is apparently in attendance. We had no idea until afterwards. It's a very high bourgeois, posh kind of venue sort of thing. And we were a pretty rocky indie band sort of thing. And so it really was probably the wrong sound for government officials, especially the Prime Minister of Poland at the time in 2011. Whoever that would have been, I don't know. And so we did that, and we got further driven around. They gave us a bunch of stuff. They kept pushing beers at us. Everything left, right, and center was free. And the gigs just basically went on like that. We stayed in the guy's house. He had 2 guard huts, huge dogs. There was people patrolling it. It was out in the middle of nowhere. It's really proper sketchy kind of stuff, considering I don't know anybody, let alone the language. And that kind of continued. It was basically that front end. That was just how it was structured. And we flew home. I'm leaving a lot of stuff out here because there's a lot of less than enjoyable and savory moments. I did end up sleeping a lot of that plane ride. Let's just say I ended up sleeping a lot of that plane ride. And I feel bad for the person who was next to me. But that was it. I got in really early in the morning and passed out. And what does happen, that has happened on every tour henceforth, is there's a massive come down. It's a very depressing moment after a tour because you are raised up emotionally. You're there, you're buzzing, you're going off all these gigs, you're loving it, you're getting to enjoy this new place and meet new people, and then you just get in and you go to your house and you sit down in your bed and none of that is there anymore. It all stops and melts away from you, and it becomes very depressing for a good couple days, you know, like a week sort of thing. It's a really strange thing, and I don't think many people tell people that that's how it happens, but yeah, that's something to be looking out for. But all in all, that was my first tour experience. Again, I've missed out a lot of things on purpose. If anybody wants to know specific things, please private message me and I'll let you know what those things were. But yeah, that was my first experience, my first year at uni, and then I'm off into Poland for 4 days, doing 5 gigs in 2 different countries, playing for the Prime Minister, and supporting this massive amount of talent that was the UK Legends, this band of people that I listened to as a kid. It was unreal, it was bizarre. Everybody was giving food to us. We made it on TV. It was unreal. It was one of the greatest experiences, I think, of my life so far in that industry. It really was incredible. And again, I don't even know how it happened. It was just who you know and the luck of the draw, I guess. But if you've got any crazy tour experiences, please let me know in the comment section below. Throw that down and tell me all about it. Again, I will be doing another video about my next tour that comes after Poland. If this was too long or too in-depth or not in-depth enough, please let me know so I can make the best video for my drum family, you guys. Alright, until next video, stay safe, keep your stick on the ice.